Respect is not given, it's earned. And in relationships, women respect men who have clear boundaries. Without boundaries, a man looks weak, desperate, and easy to control. With boundaries, he becomes strong, confident, and unshakable. Today we'll talk about 5 powerful boundaries every man must set if he wants respect from women and from the world. These are not about ego, they're about dignity, discipline, and self-respect, as Stoic philosophy teaches. 1. Never tolerate disrespect. Respect is the foundation of every relationship. Without it, love cannot survive, attraction fades, and trust breaks. The first and most important boundary a man must set is this: never tolerate disrespect. Disrespect comes in many forms. Sometimes it's direct, insults, mocking, or belittling comments. Other times it's subtle, a dismissive tone, constant interruptions, or ignoring your words and presence. Whether loud or quiet, disrespect eats away at your dignity, and once you allow it, it only grows stronger. Many men make the mistake of staying silent when disrespected. They laugh it off, pretend it doesn't matter, or avoid conflict out of fear of losing the woman. But here's the truth. Every time you ignore disrespect, you silently teach her that it is acceptable. You set the standard for how people treat you. If you allow disrespect once, it will happen again and worse. A Stoic man does not respond with anger or chaos. He does not scream or fight back to prove a point. Instead, he calmly but firmly makes it clear, I don't accept being spoken to like that. This simple boundary shows strength. Without aggression, it shows self-respect. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. What he meant is simple. You cannot always control how others act, but you can always control what you allow. If you refuse to allow disrespect, it loses power over you. Consider 2 men in the same situation. The first man gets insulted by his partner. Instead of standing up for himself, he laughs nervously, changes the subject, and tries to act like it didn't bother him. Inside, he feels weak and humiliated. His partner notices his silence and, even if unconsciously, loses respect for him. The second man hears the same insult. He stays calm, looks her in the eyes, and says firmly, I won't accept being spoken to that way. He doesn't yell. He doesn't beg. He sets a boundary. His partner immediately knows this man values himself. He demands respect by the way he carries himself. Which man earns respect? Clearly the second one. This boundary is not about ego or pride, it's about self-worth. A man who values himself will never allow anyone, woman or man, to treat him as less than he deserves. And here's the paradox. Women often test boundaries to see what a man will tolerate. When you let disrespect slide, they push further. But when you calmly refuse it, their respect for you increases. So remember this. Disrespect tolerated once becomes permission forever. The moment you accept it, you lose ground. But the moment you set the boundary, you win respect not only from others but also from yourself. A strong man does not fear rejection. He fears losing his dignity. That is why the first boundary, never tolerate disrespect, is the foundation of strength in any relationship. 2. Don't chase. Walk away when needed. One of the most powerful boundaries a man can set in his life is this: never chase, always be willing to walk away. Most men fail here. When a woman pulls away, loses interest, or disrespects them, they panic. They start chasing, calling more, texting more, begging for attention, trying harder and harder to win back her validation. But every time you chase, you lose respect. You communicate one dangerous message: my worth depends on your approval. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. A Stoic man understands a deeper truth. Respect is earned by presence, not by pursuit. If someone wants to be in your life, they will stay. If they don't, forcing them only weakens you. Chasing shows desperation, and desperation is the opposite of strength. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said, he who needs riches least enjoys riches most. The same principle applies to relationships. The man who needs attention least commands the most respect. Why? Because his happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. He is whole on his own. Think about it this way. Imagine 2 men. The first man notices his partner becoming distant. She takes longer to reply, cancels plans, or gives half-hearted attention. Instead of standing firm, he doubles his effort. He texts more, buys gifts, apologizes for things he never did wrong just to win her back. What happens? She loses even more respect. She sees him as weak, because he has shown he cannot live without her. The second man notices the same signs of distance. Instead of chasing, he calmly steps back. He doesn't argue. He doesn't beg. He simply gives space and focuses on his own path. If she continues to pull away, he walks away. He knows his worth doesn't shrink just because someone else fails to see it. This man keeps his respect, and ironically, many times the same woman comes back, because strength is attractive, and walking away is strength. Walking away doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you refuse to compromise your dignity. It means you understand that love, like respect, cannot be forced. You cannot beg someone to value you. They either see your worth or they don't. And if they don't, then your boundary is simple. I will not stay where I am not respected. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. By the same logic, if it is not respect, do not accept it." This boundary transforms a man. The moment you stop chasing and start walking away when needed, you shift from weakness to power. You show that your happiness is not negotiable, that you will never settle for less than respect. And here's the paradox. The men who are ready to walk away are the ones women respect the most, because they live by choice, not by need. So remember, never chase. If respect is gone, walk away. In losing someone, you may lose nothing, but in losing your dignity, you lose everything. Protect your time. Time is the most valuable resource a man has. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities missed can sometimes return, but time wasted is gone forever. And one of the biggest boundaries that earns women's respect and everyone's respect is learning to protect your time. Most men give away their time too easily. They wait hours for someone who constantly cancels plans. They sacrifice their priorities to be available 24/7. They drop everything at the smallest text or call. At first, this may look like love or devotion, but in reality, it communicates weakness. It says, my time is not valuable. You are more important than my goals, my discipline, my life. But a Stoic man lives differently. He understands that time is life. Every hour you waste is 1 hour of your life you will never get back. That is why he sets a firm boundary. I will not give my time carelessly. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. In his book Meditations, he reminded himself, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. His message is clear. Time is limited. Use it wisely. For men, this wisdom translates directly into relationships. A woman respects the man who values his time because it shows he values himself. If you are always free, always available, always ready to drop your world for hers, she will subconsciously see you as less valuable. Why? Because high-value men are busy building, working, and improving. Their time is precious. Let's compare two men. The first man has no boundaries. He cancels his gym session because she suddenly wants to meet. He skips his work project because she's bored and wants company. He waits hours for her even when she is late every single time. He thinks he is showing love, but in reality, he is showing weakness. His time has no worth. The second man has boundaries. He prioritizes his work, his health, his growth. If she wants to meet, great. But if she cancels last minute too often, he doesn't keep waiting. He doesn't drop his commitments unless it is truly important. He treats his time like gold, and because of that, others treat it the same way. This doesn't mean being rude or selfish. It means having balance. A man who values his time is not cold. He simply refuses to waste life on things or people that drain him. And here's the paradox. When a man guards his time, women respect him more. Why? Because deep down, people respect what is rare and valuable. If your time is available to everyone, it loses value. If your time is limited and purposeful, it becomes precious. So set the boundary. Do not let anyone waste your time. Respect your schedule, respect your goals, and expect others to do the same. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Protect your time and you protect your life. And remember, respect always follows discipline." 4. Don't tolerate disrespect. A man who tolerates disrespect slowly destroys his own value. Respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship. Without it, love cannot survive. Yet many men allow small acts of disrespect to continue, ignoring them in the hope that things will get better. But here's the truth. What you allow will continue. Disrespect comes in many forms. It could be insults disguised as jokes. It could be constant lateness, ignoring your boundaries, cutting you off mid-sentence, or treating your efforts as worthless. At first, these may look small, but if a man accepts them, they grow. And soon, he finds himself trapped in a relationship where his voice, his needs, and his dignity no longer matter. A Stoic man refuses to live this way. He sets a clear boundary. If respect is gone, the relationship is over. He does not beg for kindness. He does not tolerate humiliation. He knows that a man who accepts disrespect teaches others how to treat him. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The same wisdom applies to relationships. If it is not respect, do not accept it. Think of two men. The first man is insulted by his partner in public. Instead of addressing it, he laughs it off. She constantly interrupts him, criticizes him unfairly, and makes him feel small. But he stays quiet, hoping she will change. What happens? She loses more and more respect. Because he has shown he lacks the courage to defend himself. The second man faces the same situation. When his partner disrespects him, he calmly but firmly addresses it. He doesn't shout, he doesn't beg, he simply makes it clear, "I will not tolerate disrespect." If it happens again, he is ready to walk away. He values his dignity above comfort. And because of this, he earns lasting respect. Women may test a man's strength, but deep down, they respect the man who enforces his boundaries. Weak men tolerate anything just to avoid conflict. But strong men know that every act of disrespect tolerated is self-respect lost. This doesn't mean being harsh or unforgiving. It means valuing yourself enough to demand basic respect. It means understanding that kindness should never be confused with weakness. You can be loving, patient, and compassionate, but never at the cost of your dignity. Seneca once said, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." If you convince yourself that disrespect is normal, you will suffer endlessly. But if you convince yourself that respect is non-negotiable, you will live with strength and peace. So set this boundary. Never tolerate disrespect. The moment you let it slide, you teach others that it's acceptable. But the moment you stand firm, you teach the world how to treat you. And remember, respect is not asked for, it is commanded by the way you live. 5. Stay true to your principles. Every strong man needs principles, clear rules that guide his life. Without principles, a man drifts. He bends with every opinion, compromises under pressure, and loses himself in the process. But when a man has principles, he becomes unshakable. Stoicism teaches us that external events are beyond our control, but our values, our principles, are always in our power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not good, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is the essence of living by principles, aligning every action with what you believe is right, no matter what. Many men, however, lose their principles in relationships. They sacrifice their values just to please someone. They give up their goals, their beliefs, even their integrity, to avoid conflict. At first, this may win temporary approval, but in the long run, it destroys respect. Why? Because a man who cannot stand for himself cannot be trusted to stand for anything. Think of two men. The first man believes in honesty, discipline, and self-respect. But when his partner pressures him, he abandons these principles. He lies to avoid arguments. He skips his work or training to keep her happy. He tolerates behaviors he knows are wrong because he fears losing her. In the end, he loses himself and she loses respect for him. The second man also values honesty, discipline, and self-respect. But no matter the pressure, he refuses to abandon them. If his partner asks him to lie, he says no. If she pushes him to give up his goals, he calmly explains his priorities. If she disrespects his values, he makes it clear that his principles are non-negotiable. This man may face conflict, but he gains something greater: respect and trust. Here's the truth. Women may test your boundaries, but deep down, they admire the man who stands firm. A man who sacrifices his values for approval may gain temporary peace, but he will never gain lasting respect. A man who stays true to his principles may face resistance, but in the end he is admired, even if silently. Seneca said, "I will govern my life and thoughts as though the whole world were to see the one and read the other." This is the mindset of a principled man. He lives with integrity, not only in public but also in private. He does not shift his values depending on who is watching. Staying true to your principles also protects your inner peace. When you betray your values, you feel guilt, shame, and weakness. But when you live by them, you feel clarity, strength, and freedom. You no longer chase approval, because your approval comes from within. So set this boundary. Never sacrifice your principles for anyone. Your values are your compass. They guide you through chaos. They protect you from manipulation, and they build the foundation of your character. In the end, women respect men who know who they are and refuse to compromise it. And more importantly, you respect yourself. So remember, never tolerate disrespect. Don't chase, walk away when needed. Protect your time. Control your emotions. Live by your values. These 5 boundaries make a man strong. They create dignity, confidence, and self-respect. And that is why women respect men who set them. As the Stoics taught, master yourself and the world will respect you. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and men's growth content.